When Earth was still young, she became weary of her giddy journey through space. She was never sure when night would come or day, and this distressed her. It meant she could not sleep. At any moment a corner of the world would spin into dawn, and somewhere far from there a sunset would blaze over mountains or an empty plain, and dark would descend over vastness. "Oh dear," said Earth, weary of such gliding shadows, "I'm going to get a chill. I'm always hot and always cold, with this poor body stroked by flame, and then by far the worst, by hands of ice." "Sit down," the uncle said, "and I will tell you only what I feel is true." "You are going to tell me how God is good." The boy was sneering. "Well, the soldiers who came, they thought they were killing for God, didn't they, uncle? If God is so good and so powerful, then why doesn't he help the people who love him and the people who really need him?" "I thought I saw an angel." He was a young man dressed in white robes, and his fingertips were pressed against the window panes. He had such long fingers, beautiful hands. They were scrabbling for a hold on the window, but there was only glass and lead. He could not get a grip, and a great storm was rising. I can still hear the sound of his robes against the glass. It was the noise that wet leaves make when they're blown against wet glass, and indeed wet leaves had stuck against the panes. The angel's eyes were seized too far from land, and I was afraid to see the angel's fear. Then he was gone, whirled away on that storm, no doubt, just like another torn off leaf. There was merely a little catch on the box, which opened with a flip. Groll lifted its lid, and a snatch of music escaped before he could close it. In the street outside the shop, a small boy was passing by. He heard that music, which was so different to the drum beats and trumpets of soldiers. He began to dance. He threw his weak blonde hair about his brow. He waved his spindly arms about, and even when the faint music had ended, the child could still hear it. He would never forget it. "It's Grandma," said Carl. "Grandma is back with her music." This was no sigh from history or the whistling of a ghost, but music that was living, played by the living, and endlessly varied. Toggle loved the smell of his own armpits. Whenever he felt low or in need of a pick-me-up, as he called it, he would pause at his business and inhale the stink, as others might enjoy a violet scent. When Toggle saw the doctor so attired, he bellowed with fear. There Toggle slouched, bloated, in his creaking wooden settler, while the black leather heron danced around him, peering and poking, clucking and tutting. The doctor pulled up Toggle's smock and ran his hands across the scurfy dome. As his fingers swept over, Toggle could hear the crackle of the hairs, the scurrying of lice. The doctor pressed and Toggle moaned. He pressed again and Toggle moaned louder. The heron stepped back and gave just one alarming squawk. Then, with a snap and a rustle, the bird's head was gone, replaced by the head of a very startled medical man. "Your husband, I have to tell you, is pregnant," said Dr. Otter's Nest. "Come from the pool now," Maud commanded, "for now you have the necessary hole." On the bank, standing up, Toggle dropped the baby without ceremony or fuss. It was a hairy little fellow born with teeth, but Mrs. Toggle loved it all the same.